The Pittsburgh Steelers continue to reshape their identity under new head coach Mike McCarthy, and on Wednesday that transformation took another major step forward. According to CBS Sports Mad Zenits, the Steelers have finalized a deal with Patrick Graham, formerly the defensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders, to take over the same role in Pittsburgh. The move adds an experienced, well-traveled defensive mind to McCarthy's first staff with the franchise and signals that the Steelers are intent on blending tradition with modern schematic flexibility as they enter a new era. Graham, 46, arrives in Pittsburgh with more than 2 decades of coaching experience, including significant time in both college football and the NFL. His path to one of the league's most visible defensive coordinator jobs has been anything but linear, and that journey is a large part of what makes his hiring notable. Unlike many coaches who rise quickly through the ranks as former star players, Graham built his resume steadily, earning respect at each stop through preparation, adaptability, and a reputation for teaching. His coaching career began back in 2002 at Wagner College, where he served as a graduate assistant. At the time, Graham was just beginning to find his footing in the profession, learning the day-to-day demands of coaching while handling the less glamorous responsibilities that often define early career roles. That foundational experience proved valuable, as it instilled in him an appreciation for detail, organization, and player development that would carry forward throughout his career. After his stint at Wagner, Graham spent 3 years at the University of Richmond, where he continued to hone his defensive knowledge and coaching style. Those years were instrumental in helping him understand how to adapt schemes to personnel, a skill that would later become one of his trademarks in the NFL. His work at Richmond eventually caught the attention of league circles, opening the door to his first professional opportunity. That opportunity came in 2009, when Graham joined the New England Patriots as a defensive coaching assistant. Landing with the Patriots was a significant milestone, as it placed him inside one of the most successful and demanding organizations in NFL history. Under Bill Belichick, Graham was exposed to an environment where versatility, weekly game plan adjustments, and situational football were paramount. Over 7 seasons in New England, he worked closely with multiple position groups and absorbed a defensive philosophy that emphasized flexibility over rigid system adherence. Those years with the Patriots helped shape Graham's reputation as a coach who could communicate complex concepts clearly and tailor schemes to fit the strengths of his players. By the time he left New England, he was widely viewed as a rising coach ready for greater responsibility, and the New York Giants were the next team to give him that opportunity. In 2016, the Giants hired Graham as their defensive line coach. The move marked his first prominent position role outside of New England and gave him the chance to leave a more direct imprint on a single unit. His work with the Giants' defensive front was well regarded, particularly in terms of technique and run defense, and it did not take long for other teams to notice his impact. A year later, Graham reunited with Mike McCarthy's former organization by joining the Green Bay Packers in 2017. With the Packers, he served as linebackers coach and run game coordinator, roles that expanded his influence over the defense as a whole. That season in Green Bay is especially relevant now, as it represents an early professional connection between Graham and McCarthy, one that may have played a role in the Steelers' decision to target him for their defensive coordinator position. In Green Bay, Graham was tasked with improving a defense that had struggled with consistency, particularly against the run. While the Packers' overall results were mixed during that period, Graham's reputation as a thoughtful teacher and strategist continued to grow. His ability to bridge the gap between front seven responsibilities and overall defensive structure became one of his calling cards. That skill set helped him land one of the most important jobs of his career in 2019, when the Miami Dolphins hired him as their defensive coordinator. Taking over a Dolphins defense in transition, Graham faced the challenge of implementing his system with a roster that was still being rebuilt. Despite limited talent in some areas, Miami's defense showed flashes of competitiveness and adaptability, further reinforcing the league-wide perception that Graham could maximize available personnel. Following his season in Miami, Graham returned to the New York Giants in 2020, this time as their defensive coordinator. His tenure with the Giants was marked by aggressive game planning and creative use of personnel, particularly in the secondary. Under Graham, the Giants' defense became known for its ability to disguise coverages and generate confusion for opposing quarterbacks, even when the offense struggled to provide consistent support. After 2 seasons with the Giants, Graham took on a new challenge in 2022 when he was hired by the Las Vegas Raiders as their defensive coordinator. The Raiders were searching for stability and identity on defense, and Graham was brought in to provide both. His approach in Las Vegas focused on balance, aiming to improve run defense while maintaining flexibility in coverage schemes. In 2025, Graham agreed to a new deal to remain with the Raiders, a sign that the organization valued his leadership despite ongoing roster turnover. That season, Las Vegas finished ranked number 25 in scoring defense and number 14 in total defense. The numbers painted a mixed picture. The Raiders were number 17 against the run and number 14 against the pass, reflecting a unit that was competitive in yardage but struggled at times to keep points off the board. Those statistics require context, however. The Raiders' defense dealt with injuries, inconsistency, and frequent pressure due to offensive struggles, all of which put additional strain on the unit. While the raw rankings were not elite, they did show incremental improvement in certain areas, particularly in pass defense, and reinforced the idea that Graham could field a respectable defense even under challenging circumstances. For the Steelers, the decision to bring in Graham is about more than one season's worth of rankings. It reflects a belief that his experience, adaptability, and familiarity with multiple defensive systems make him a strong fit for a franchise that values toughness but also understands the need to evolve. Pittsburgh has long been associated with a physical, aggressive defensive identity, and Graham's background suggests he can honor that tradition while incorporating modern concepts. Pairing Graham with Mike McCarthy also speaks to a broader organizational strategy. McCarthy, known primarily as an offensive coach, appears intent on surrounding himself with coordinators who bring autonomy and proven track records. By hiring Graham, the Steelers are entrusting their defense to someone who has called plays at multiple NFL stops and worked under some of the league's most respected coaches. The move also suggests continuity and stability are priorities for Pittsburgh. Graham's extensive experience means he is unlikely to require a prolonged adjustment period, and his history of working with varied rosters should help him tailor the defense to the Steelers' personnel quickly. With established defensive leaders already in place, Graham will have the opportunity to implement his system without needing to overhaul the roster entirely. As the Steelers continue to build McCarthy's staff, the addition of Patrick Graham stands out as a significant and calculated hire. It reinforces the message that Pittsburgh is serious about competing immediately, not merely rebuilding or experimenting. With a head coach eager to make his mark and a defensive coordinator accustomed to navigating adversity, the Steelers are positioning themselves for a season defined by urgency and ambition. Ultimately, Graham's success in Pittsburgh will be judged by results on the field, particularly in high-leverage moments where defense often defines games. For now, his hiring represents another important piece of the puzzle as the Steelers chart a new course, blending experienced leadership with a renewed vision for the future. What do you think of these new changes to the Steelers coaching staff? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you soon.